0, 1. Let's get started.
Why they stopping me?
Hey y'all, it's Coco with a K, and today we're talking about single parents. Well, dating while being a single parent, right? Notice I didn't say dating while having kids, because dating and being a single parent is completely different from dating while having kids. And we'll get right into it. I know y'all miss me or whatever. Just stacking up on videos so I can just kind of like roll them out. But dating while being a single parent is not for the weak. Let's just start there. I know y'all hear y'all friends a lot of times, especially if y'all are women. Women say this a lot. They won't admit it, but I'm not dating a man with kids. I need his undivided attention. I'm his baby. What Mariah say, Daddy, am I your baby? Like, women really need to be a man's top priority. And I think that stems from trauma and vice versa. A man who says he doesn't date women for the sake of he needs her undivided attention, I think that comes from a place of trauma, right? Or experiences as a child. Now, I am not saying a person who says, I don't want to date a person with kids because I want my kid to be their first kid. That's absolutely justifiable. It makes perfect sense. I want my first kid to be your first kid. That's fair. You cannot get mad at a person for not wanting to date a person with kids, especially if they don't have any kids, right? Now, a person who has children and say things like, or a child and say things like, I don't want to date a person with kids because I need to be their top priority. That's a big red flag for me. Because if you have children and you're not dating someone with children because you want to be their top priority, lets me know two things. One, you're dealing with some childhood trauma from your parents. And two, your children aren't your top priority. Both two huge red flags for me, especially while dating. And I know a lot of people, well, I'll get into that later. But two red flags. Because why is that your main focus? And a lot of times, some people won't even say that, right? They won't even say it out their mouth. They'll get into the relationship with the person with the kid, but then it starts to seep out because you can't hide that. You can't hide trauma, and you can't hide things that you thought that you were healed from, especially presented with them in your face, and it begins to seep out. Like, we can hide something from some people sometimes, but you can't hide everything from everybody all the time. So some things begin to seep out. And so dating a single parent is not for the weak. Now, you can date someone with kids, and y'all might have a breeze, who's not parenting for real. When you are parenting, your child is considered first in every decision you make. Literally. And it sounds like a lot. It sounds like, something that people just say. If you're not considering your child in almost every decision that you make, I'm side-eyeing you. Especially if you're a single parent, especially if you're the sole provider of that child, the person who is responsible for decision making for that kid. Yeah, I'm side-eyeing you. When single parents get into relationships with people who are dealing with their own trauma from childhood, like when I hear my homegirl say, that man gotta be, I gotta be his main focus. That's typically coming from my friends who were raised in a single parent household. I gotta be honest, ladies. It's typically coming from my friends whose fathers weren't around. They don't know what it's like to be considered. They don't know what it's like to be put first, to be made a priority. They don't know what it feels like, right? Now, I don't know everybody's situation, but I do know people. I don't want to seem like, oh, I'm on here. And again, when I speak, it's never a blanket statement. I'm never making one statement to cover all people. Never doing that, because every situation is different. Everyone is different. But I do understand people enough to know that a lot of times when people do certain things, when we're all living in traumas from our childhood, whether we want to admit it or not. And some people don't like the word trauma. They like experiences. We're all living in responses from the experiences that we've had. We can agree to disagree on that. I'm not coming off that hill. And so the person that's in front of you is not even the person that's in front of you. That's the kid. That's the child, right? That's the person who was 16, who went through something and it changed them forever. Or who was 8 and they went through something and it changed them forever. Or they experienced something that made them a certain way. And so once we understand that, we give each other more grace. But a lot of us don't understand that. We're looking at the person thinking like, you this, you that, you got this and you got that. How you don't understand this, right? And so when I look at single parents dating, being a single parent dating, I've been told that the only thing that I care about is my son. I've been told that as a single parent. And sometimes you do have to consider the source who's telling you things like that. Like, damn, you know, that's why they say you're marrying a person's family when you marry them. Or you're marrying their past. And I agree with that to an extent because being raised by a single mom, right? Let me just pivot for a second. Being raised by a single mom, I went through everything with my mom. I went through being homeless with my mom at such a young age. My mom was like, what, 18? Yeah, my mom had me at 18. I went through losing jobs. I went through depression. I went through struggling, not knowing how we were going to make bills. I also went through the great times with my mom. Each time it was with my mom. My mom had me. She made sure I was okay. She made sure I was fed. She made sure we figured it out together. That's a beautiful thing. That's a thing money can't buy. So when we start speaking about things that money can't buy, that type of consideration that my mom had, that type of my mom says she got into some trouble a while back, and she said her main goal was, I'll never get into trouble again because I will never leave my child. No one is going to raise my kid how I'm going to raise my kid. That level of consideration from a parent, you can't buy. That unconditional love from a parent, you cannot buy. You can't. So when you're experiencing people in this world, and when you're dating as a single parent, you have to consider where they come from. You have to consider where they come from. And a lot of us like to think, yeah, I went through that, but I'm healed. I'm one of them. I'm one of those people who like to think, yeah, I went through that, but I'm healed, until I'm presented with something that shows me I'm not. And I don't mind changing my mind when presented with new evidence, because maybe I'm not healed from that. Maybe I do need to work on that. Maybe I don't have it all figured out. You know, being a single mom, being raised by my mom. My dad was in and out of jail. He was a street guy. He was making more babies. He was doing all these things. He was very much so capable of being a dad. He just didn't do it. He chose not to. And so that's some trauma. Like, and I didn't know that I was dealing with that until, because I always had this hard exterior, being an only child. Again, me and my mom struggled. So I moved schools quite a bit, and having to, I was at most of these schools by myself. I remember going to school with my cousins for a while, but most of these schools I was by myself. And I had to build this hard exterior. Like, you ain't gonna fuck with me. Ain't nobody gonna fuck with me. And if you know, you know. If you watching this and you went to school with me, then you know what I'm saying to be true. Like, you're not gonna fuck with me. You don't fuck with me, I ain't gonna fuck with you. We cool. I don't mind fighting. I didn't mind fighting, right? So it was just a thing to where it was like, it is what it is. I built that up not knowing from what, right? And so I didn't know I was still dealing with trauma from my dad not being there until I got to college. The most random thing ever. I get to college. I'm in a locker room one day. This is on the hills. This is my freshman year. Sophomore year. I'll never forget it. And I'm in the locker room, and one of my teammates, she's on the phone with her dad. And she's like, hey, Dad, I bought this new bookshelf, and I don't know. I went to the University of Louisville in Kentucky. I'll never forget this, y'all. She lived in Indiana, which is kind of right next door to Kentucky, but the part she lived in was like a couple hours away. She was like, I bought this bookshelf. Mind you, her and her dad are on speakerphone. I'm sitting next to her. We're all getting dressed. We just showered. We're leaving practice, getting ready to go to classes or whatever. She says, I bought this bookshelf and I don't know how to put it together. I took it out and it's just been sitting on my floor. And Her dad immediately said, okay, I'll drive up tomorrow to come and put it up for you. When I get off of work tomorrow, I will drive up to put your bookshelf up. She said, thank you so much, Dad. Okay, gotta go. Bye. Talk to you later. Y'all, I became so mad. I was boiling. I called my dad and instantly I just was screaming to the top of my lungs. I was cussing him. I was screaming, telling them how you were never there for me. Like, you're a sad and sorry excuse for a dad. Like, y'all, I was going off. I didn't know I was dealing with it. I thought I was put together. Like, I'm smart. I'm beautiful. I got a $92,000 scholarship to a D1 college. Like, I'm doing the thing. I didn't know that I was dealing with that until presented with some new information that made me change and reconsider and say, I need to work on it. That's bothering me. I called my mom immediately after. She said, it's okay that it bothers you. It's okay. It's okay it bothers you. It's okay for it to bother you. It's supposed to bother you, right? He should be doing better. As an adult, I look at people who think that they're together and they have it figured out and they say stuff like, oh, I need all his attention. Or if they don't say it, they act like it. And it's like, oh, you're dealing with something. You're dealing with something deeper than what I can help you with, right? I'm going to go into every relationship. Mind you, my son is 10 years old. In 10 years, he's only met 2 guys with the understanding that they're my boyfriends. One he lived with for a couple years. We were in a relationship. And that was one. And then recently, he met a second guy. That one he met when he was 5. Was it 5? One he met when he was 4. And one he met when he was 4. And then another when he was 9. And so that's it. That's it. I'm at an age to where I'm not doing anything casually, right? I'm 33. I'm not doing anything casually because I'm considering my son in everything that I do. So if you see me in a relationship and if you see me posting a man, especially a man with my kid, if you see me as a unit, I'm not doing anything casually. I'm not one of those women who bring men in and out of, their kids. Like, that's just not my thing. It's never been my thing. It never will be my ministry. To each its own. But with my son's eyes, he's only ever seen me date 2 guys. Right? And so when I get in these spaces, and the same thing that attracts people to me, I think, is the same thing that deters them from me sometimes, because I've dated several men who will say things like, well, I know if your son X, Y, and Z, then we ain't gonna go on a date. They could have planned a date for us or something. Well, I know if you and your son X, Y, and Z, then I know you ain't absolutely right. I'm glad that you know. Or men lead with, if you're not doing anything with your son, then I would like to X, Y, and that's how men approach me. Listen, men approach me that way. If you and your son aren't doing anything, or I know how much of a involved parent you are, how about I can take you and your son? They even try to throw that in there, which is a big turnoff for me, fellas. Like, I protect my son with my life. So to me, asking to take him and I out is a red flag for me, not gonna lie. It gives you're pandering to me because you think that's what I'm interested in. That's not how you're gonna get to me. But dating a woman with the kid or dating a man with the kid, it's not for the weak. Ladies, we get in these situations with these men, right, who are raising children on their own without the mothers for whatever reason, and you're mad because you're being considered second. And I don't understand. I don't for the life of me, I can't wrap my mind around it. I've heard women with my own ears say, girl, his baby mama so goddamn lazy. She ain't doing this and she ain't doing that. Every time he going to go get the baby from school, he buying school clothes. He doing this, he doing that, he doing this, he doing that. Jump in, sis. Jump in at any moment. Jump in. Because if you don't know what it takes to raise a child, to critique a person raising a child, to me is insane. Unless you went to school, studied human behavior, have participated in studies, and have, like, your word holds no weight to me if you are critiquing me and you have no children. Or if you are critiquing me and you don't have the same values as I do as a parent. You could be a parent as well, but you just don't hold the same values as me. Your word holds no weight. So when I hear women complaining about men parenting their children, that's a red flag for me. Because who didn't love you as a child? I was about to say child and kid put together. As a kid. Who didn't love you as a child? Who didn't show you that unconditional love and consideration? Who didn't put you first? You know, who didn't value your existence? Who? Because under no circumstances will a man loving his child make me say, dang, you didn't do that from, like, consider me that way. Since that had to happen a long time ago. I don't have space for that now. That man does not have space to consider you how he's considering his child. Especially when you're not his wife. Especially when now I know you're not even wife material. Because what I'm doing for my child is bothering your soul. You need to go heal. You need to go work on you. There's a lot of women like that. If they're not that man's top priority, they don't want to be anything to him. They don't understand the power of jumping in. Of, hey, where am I best? Where is, like, do you think your child will mind if I do this? Especially, so when raising a kid who is maybe between the ages of, you know, a little bitty baby and I'll say 10, right? You have to jump in. You have to just, like, jump in. You have to be present. You have to continue to show up. You have to do these things. You have to, like, if you're not ready to date a person with a child, don't. Because it looks good. The family unit looks good and it looks fun and we all want it. But the things that it actually takes is not for the weak. And that's why, as an adult, as a 33-year-old single parent, I can say it's so important to procreate with who you see yourself being with. Procreate with a person who you see yourself building a life with. Because a lot of times, jumping in and being a lot of people can't be Russell Wilson. It's just not in them. A lot of people are not Russell Wilson. And that's not a shot to them. It's not in them. It don't have to be in you. You can literally go build your own family in your own life. You don't have to take care of anyone else's child. But to step in that space, it takes a lot. It's uncomfortable conversations. It's uncomfortable moments. It's moments where you're questioning yourself, like, is this, you know, is this my family? Like, is this really my family? Like, you got to go to God with the questions. And a lot of us like to say, oh, it's easy. It's not easy. It's not easy, especially when you get in those situations and your trauma starts to seep out. When your insecurities start to seep out. Listen, what I don't know everybody's situation, but I know humans. I know people. I don't know everybody's situation. So again, my statements are not blanket statements. They're not statements that I'm saying that represent everyone. But I know people. And for the most part, if you have unhealed trauma that you're dealing with from your childhood, whether that was given to you by parents or siblings or aunts and uncles, whatever it is that you're dealing with, if you don't heal, it's going to seep out. It's going to seep out in ways that you didn't even know were possible until it begins to seep out. Again, I'm guilty of that. I also can recognize it. And we like to often think that I'm put together just because you're thriving, right? In your career, in your friendships, maybe. You're thriving. You got the thing. You're working for you look like you've made it, right? But when it comes to that family dynamic, it's like, why can't I get it right? It's not always everyone else. It's not always everyone else. Sometimes we have to say, what is it? What's going on? Right? I'm so big on, like, damn, Was I doing that? Did I act that way? But why would I? I'll think about some shit for months until it makes sense, until I can have okay, well, I probably would have did this for that. Or even till I come to the conclusion of there was no reason for me to act the way that I did. I just did. And I have to do better. Right? But I think a lot of times that we think that we're so put together that there's no room for, now it couldn't be me because I know how to do this. And I know we don't. It's like a vase almost for me. Like if you break a vase in a few big pieces and you feel like, oh, it's not shattered. I can glue this back here, Gorilla glue this back, and boom. And turn it to the back, put my flowers in it. It's my favorite vase. I'm going to make it work. Until over time, it starts to seep out. The water starts to seep out. And you see it's a little wet spot right there on your counter where the vase is. And it's like, dang, it's seeping out. That's what I look at people who feel like they've healed and got it figured out. Oh, I went to therapy. I've done the work. I pray to God. I've done the work. We do understand healing is not linear. It's not a point that you arrive to. It's something that you continuously have to be conscious of, because you're not saying that we can't be fixed, but once broken, right? It's like an addict almost. You have to be conscious that you can slide back down that slope. Especially if you've stayed down there for so long, right? And then you heal yourself. We got to be conscious of, I can easily go back there. I have it in me already. I've proven to myself that I can be that. I can do that. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to work every day to not be that, right? Yeah. And I think that a lot of us think that we're healed, and we aren't. We aren't healed, and that's okay. It's not about coming healed. It's about coming aware. Oh, that's a word. It's not about coming healed. It's about coming aware of where you lack it and not giving yourself these false positives. A lot of people like to give themselves not false positives. It's called positive negatives, to where the only thing bad that you have to say about yourself is something like, I'm too kind to people. Sometimes I consider people more than I consider myself. That's called a positive negative, right? It's bad, but it's a good bad. Like, oh, you're not a bad person. You don't know. Some of us have some things that we need to work on, and we are so ashamed to say them out loud because the perception of us is that we have it figured out, right? It's almost like hiding in plain sight. I'll tell y'all what I've done and where I lack it and because it's not really bad for me. It don't make me look so bad, right? But if I really tell y'all the stuff that I'm plagued with, y'all wouldn't look at me right. Y'all wouldn't look at me the same. Y'all wouldn't look at me the same if I tell y'all the things that I were plagued with. And so until people start being honest about where they are in their journey, things like dating a single parent, leave that to the people who are healed. Leave that to the people who are willing to heal. Leave that to the people who are honest with where they are in their healing journey. Because I think women and men alike get in these situations and they don't know what to do. They don't know what to do, especially when they're dealing with a parent who, in every decision, their child is at the center of it. Imagine what that has to be like, y'all. Imagine never being considered in your life, and not saying that, this is everybody's problem or issue. But when I hear women say stuff like, if I'm not his top priority, then baby, I don't got time for no kids. I need him to be able to do this when I want to, do this when I want to, do this when I want to. Imagine never being considered, how that would affect you. Imagine no one ever taking the time to say, no. Or how would that affect my child if I made that decision? People just living and just doing things, and they never considering you, not your mom, not your dad, not your grandma, not your grandpa. Like, no one considered you. And it's seeping out when you're dating these men who have these children, or men vice versa. No one ever considered you, and it's seeping out when you date these women with children, because why am I not her top priority? I'm here to tell y'all now. A woman who is really parenting and a man who is really parenting, it's impossible to be their top priority. Now, I know the Bible says a man become one and they leave their children, but right now y'all aren't one and y'all are dating, right? It's impossible to date a person with a child and be their top priority. It's completely impossible. It's impossible. So as the person that they're dating, you got to jump in and get in where you fit in, get in where it makes sense. And I'm not saying take bare minimum or breadcrumbs or to not be valued or considered at all. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is be aware of all the things that this single parent that they're already dealing with, and don't come add to with your own insecurities. Hey, babe, I know that you said that you had to do X, Y, and Z for baby girl today. Baby, I'll do it. I'll take that off your hand. I know you're working. I know you're focusing. Let me do that. Let me handle that. I'll get the kids together. Why? Because listen, I'm a mother to my core. I'm a mother. Sometimes I debate on my purpose in life because I feel like my purpose in life is to be a mom. But it's like, I know that's not my only purpose. My only purpose could not be sent here to mother my child. And so I'm a mother to my core. So where can I help you at? Where can I fix? Like, where can I jump in at? And that's not easy to do. There are uncomfortable conversations that need to be had. There are real conversations needed to be had. People willing to be naked, in front of you before that can actually happen. And tell you the things that they're plagued with and tell you their fears and tell you, like, a lot of stuff has to happen in order for it to work. You can't just get into a relationship and think after being a single parent for years and years and years that it's going to flow. Like, that's insanity. It's not going to flow. It's not going to work. It's not going to go like that. So my advice is, if you're dating a single parent, men or women, and you aren't healed, step away from it. Leave them alone. Leave that single parent alone. Ladies, leave that man alone. Yes, he has his life together. Yes, he has his career together. Yes, he's, doing all these things. He's also a parent. And his child also comes first. Leave him alone. You do not come first in his life. You do not get to cute your way into being first in a real man's life. You don't get to do it. Men, if you're dating a single mother and she's raising a child, come healed. Because her first priority is her kid. Her decision making revolves around her child. Every decision that she makes, that kid is at the center of it. If you can't carry that, because that's heavy sometimes. If you're coming with your own traumas and you can't carry that, stay away from that single mother. It's not going to change. Now, her load or his or her load can become lighter because you can know how to step in and pick up the slack. And again, that's not buying things. Pick up the slack and let her know that I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. Let him know, hey, babe, I see what you've been doing. I know her mother isn't around. I got y'all. I'm here. I'm not leaving. Whatever it is, however hard it is, we'll figure it out. But stepping in and expecting a person to consider you more than they consider their child is insane. Women, if you are out here considering men more than you're considering your child, stay away from me. Men, if you're meeting a baddie and she makes you step away from your single parenting and the things that you've been doing for your children because she needs to be your top priority, stay away from me. I don't even want to be cool with men like that. All of my friends, their children are their first priorities. So I can't associate myself with anything less. And if I've seen red flags, I brought it up. If I've seen red flags, I brought it up. Girl, why is X, Y, and Z? You need to do this better. You need to X, Y, and Z. Or you need to, because one thing that I won't tolerate is being cool with people who don't put their children first. I can't do it. I can't do it. I cannot do it. So dating while being a single parent is not for the weak. It is not for the unhealed. And it is not for the selfish. If you're going to date a single parent, ladies, be prepared to be second. Okay? Be prepared to be second until you're not. Men, if you're going to date a single parent, be prepared to be second. Come healed, come understanding,